mode.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I am Dr. Steve Barker with Prima Eye Group, and we are very excited to host this webinar with Dr. Howard Day. So welcome.
Does that go to the office address?
Just a few.
Perfect. I will plug that in, and I really appreciate the call.
University of Alabama School of Optometry.
My pleasure. Have a great day, Shelley. Bye-bye.
Hey, Steve, I'm picking up a phone call on another line at your office, I think.
I hear that too. I think it's cleared. Okay. I'm not sure where that was coming from. Dr. Day did a primary care and ocular disease residency from Pennsylvania College of Optometry in 1988. He was a guest lecturer for the business aspects of optometry class of University of Alabama School of Optometry. And Howard is in private practice in Gardendale, Alabama for the past 28 years. And he's a member of the AOA and Alabama Optometric Association. And Howard is a loyal member of Prima since 2011. And Howard's only disclosure was he loves Napa Valley. I'm not sure I was supposed to say that or not, but I would also like to disclose my affinity for Napa Valley at this time. So we're very excited to provide tonight's program, Service Recovery Grand Rounds with Howard Day, OD. And this program is going to run about 30 to 40 minutes, followed by a Q&A session at the end if anyone has questions. And FYI, we are recording the program to be placed in the member resources section of the Prima website. So Howard, thanks so much for your participation. And at this time, I'm going to hand over the program to you. Thanks, Howard.
Great, Steve. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Service Recovery Grand Rounds. And I just wanted to also point out in my resume, nothing about my training at University of Alabama School of Optometry, as esteemed as it is, nothing in my training prepared me for service recovery. This is all from the School of Hard Knocks. I'm in the trenches like all of you guys. And got one other final disclosure. Throughout this talk, I also want to keep in mind, I don't make everybody happy, but we certainly work very hard to do that. So with that, we'll get started. And so why is this important? You know, we're all trying to get excellent customer service. We're trying to climb that ladder and be the best out there. And, you know, this is extremely important, especially in this age of disruptive technology. You know, I like to tell my staff, all we have to offer our patients is excellent customer service. And, you know, and Dr. Gilmore's pointed out many times, the key to practice success is excellent customer service, because without customer service, nowadays people can get their eyes checked on their iPhone. You see that there. There's a lot of apps out there.
Muted.
A lot of things going on in New York. A lot of things out there where, you know, if we're going to be pretty mediocre in our service end, well, people will go someplace else. So our goal is to have excellent customer service at all times. So throughout this talk today, you know, how do we prevent this, the poor service, the poor survey, that kind of thing? So
unmuted.
Service recovery, and it's basically your business strategy when service inevitably goes wrong. And I'd like to say I'm perfect at all times, but sometimes we all drop the ball. So if we do it right, if we have an excellent service recovery strategy, this leads to what's called the service recovery paradox, which basically means that the patient satisfaction is higher than it was prior to the problem. So they become a loyal fan with our service recovery. And there's a graph there. You can see where customer loyalty starts off, you know, kind of neutral. Then something happens, drop the ball, and you can see service, the customer loyalty satisfaction drops very quickly. But once you implement the service recovery strategy, you can see the customer loyalty jumps back up again and will be actually higher than it was prior to this. So then we get this kind of survey. Awesome. I think I want to add that to my survey. Were we better than excellent? Or maybe, man, wow, we get that awesome every now and then. That would be great. So that's service recovery done right. And there we have, that's what we all want. We want that happy patient, happy doctors, everybody's having a great day. And the challenge with this is most of us, unfortunately, are in this uncomfortable middle. You know, we're not really good at customer service recovery. We don't have a plan. Our pricing isn't that great. You know, just everything about us is in the middle. And so, you know, when you're in the middle, you're going to lose patients to Walmart because if your customer service is lousy, they might as well go someplace else. But if they want higher service, they can go to Nordstrom or better run practices. So we all want to avoid that uncomfortable middle. And I think I've been that guy on that plane at one time. So this is what we want to avoid, is that patient right there. You know, rarely do we get a second chance. You know, as I like to tell my staff, new patients do not give us a second chance. Patients we've been seeing for a long time will give us a second chance, but no one ever gives you a third chance to get it right. So let's avoid that uncomfortable middle and increase our A game. So basically, what is service recovery? Service recovery is we got to let the patient win. You know, or we have these, we're the doctors, but, you know, sometimes we've got to let the patient win. And there's a lot of life lessons that we've all heard before. I've got a drawing in our optical lab. You know, it's got the sometimes you eat the dragon, got a little slide of that. Sometimes the dragon eats you. So and throughout our day-to-day lives in offices, you know, sometimes the dragon wins. So there's that dragon. And then, of course, for all my friends from Texas, you know, I've got, you know, sometimes you got to say it like a Texan. Sometimes the bar eats you. So that's there. Of course, my family, our favorite is C-3PO. You know, you've all seen that. Let the Wookiee win. So we've all got patients like that. So why is this important to our offices? Well, it's all about customer service, and it's also about trust. And our brand, everyone's brand, is defined by their customer service or lack of it. So if we have an excellent service strategy, this basically maintains the patient trust. This strengthens our brand and protects our brand. So this was from the Prima lecture last March with Franklin Covey's group. Basically, can we be trusted to stand behind our service? A high-trust business is the most profitable, and the culture of trust starts with the doctor, and your brand is trust. This all leads to referrals. Our friends and family trust us to take good care of their friends and family, and that's why they send their families to us. They want the same level of care and service that they have received. We've got to always keep in mind that that person standing there having a problem represents a lot of people. You need to visualize they're standing there with their entire circle of friends and family, which are also your patients. So when they have a problem, what will their story be? Is it going to be how quickly we solve their problem? Or is their story going to be how they'll never come back to see us again? So our goal for this afternoon is to create a strategy for service recovery that we can all implement tomorrow at our next staff meeting. The goal is for a strategy that's simple and every member of your staff can implement. So when things go wrong, you know, you're about to get that angry fella down at the bottom and not the guy up there clapping. So most of us, the problem is we're the chief complaint officer. You know, in my early practice career, I'd have a stack of trays and sticky notes at my desk in between patients, and that's just not a good way to run things. So what Dr. Hayes and everyone encourages us all to be is be the CEO. Let's delegate service recovery to our staff, and let's make sure our patients are happier with our services so they refer more friends and family. And by doing this, we're also helping break that glass ceiling. A lot of us, I'm there too, in this zone of complexity and chaos. This will be one less chaotic thing that we all have to do throughout the day. And that way we can concentrate more on taking care of our patients. So how do we do this? This is an easy acronym right here, LAST. You've got to listen, apologize, solve, and thank. So our initial response is key. You've got to train your staff to diffuse the anger. Let the patient talk. Listen carefully. Let them rant, and then when they're talking, slow down for a minute. You just go, oh my gosh, that's horrible. That's awful. I can't believe that happened. Oh my goodness. And then right away you say, I'm going to take care of this problem for you right now, Miss Jones. You're one of my favorite patients. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I am so sorry for your inconvenience. So right then, we're on the patient's side. So listen carefully and stay calm. The key is watch your body language. Teach your staff to be like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. Oh, but be calm about it. Be polite. Not, oh, man, Mr. Jones is here again. Oh, he's got a screw out again. No, it can't be that way. We got to have that happy, polite body language. And then again, apologize. Or my favorite, we teach our staff to say is, oh my gosh, that's horrible. That's awful. I'm so sorry. Agree with the patient and let them know that you're on their team. And the way to do this is to empower our staff. We've got to empower the first person to hear the complaint to resolve the problem. Again, the longer it takes to solve the problem, the madder and more dissatisfied the patient becomes. You don't want every problem to, basically the staff doesn't know what to do. All they know is to put it in a tray and a sticky note and put it on your desk, and you don't get to it till 5:30 this afternoon. And meanwhile, the patient's fuming. She's already called 14 neighbors, and they're rallying outside your office. One Rich Carlton saying is, it may not be your fault, but it's your problem. So teach your staff that when they realize there's a problem, they take ownership of the problem and they take ownership of the solution. So again, take responsibility for the problem. Don't play the blame game. Don't go, oh, that was Sally doing that again. No. Don't make excuses. I always tell the staff, no one wants to hear our excuses. If you're short-handed, your optician needs training, whatever, they don't want to hear the excuses. They want to hear how you are going to solve their problem quickly and efficiently. One thing I also like to remind my staff is that, basically nobody really just wants their money back. That's a total service recovery when you have to write the check back. That's a total service failure, basically. Nobody really wants that. What they really want is their problem solved quickly and efficiently. So let the patient know. Tell them, oh, Miss Jones, I'm so sorry that this has happened. I'm going to take care of this right away. Have a seat over here, and I'm going to get the office manager, and we're going to fix this problem right now for you. Can I get you a cup of coffee while you wait? You're one of our favorite patients. We love seeing you, and we appreciate you bringing this to our attention. So what are some of the solutions we can offer to the patient? Like we're doing gift cards now. Dr. Gilmore does gift cards. It can be $5 Starbucks gift cards. You want to make the problem, the solution fit the problem. The quicker the problem is resolved, the smaller the solution required. One thing my father, who practiced optometry for 48 years, always said, your first loss is the cheapest loss. So, in Disney World at the last Prima meeting, one of the lecturers pointed out, if their response is slow, what could have been handled with a $15 gift card becomes now 3 nights at the Grand Floridian. So they went from $15 to $1,000 to try to satisfy that patient. So again, let's agree with the patient. No excuses or blame, and let the patient know what we're going to do quickly and efficiently. And finally, thank the patient for bringing the problem to your attention. Oh, Ms. Jones, I'm so thankful for you bringing this to my attention. I'm so sorry this happened. We're going to take care of this right away. You're one of our best patients. Just let them know that you care and that you're on their side. So let's learn from our mistakes along the way. Again, we don't want to place blame. We don't want to have the first staff meeting Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. We're taking names and numbers and chewing, we can sound like we're chewing our staff out, because basically anytime there's a service problem in your office, it's the owner's responsibility. It's no one else's fault. It's that if something's not going well in your office, if you're pointing one finger, you know you're pointing four back at yourself. So let's don't play the blame game. Let's take responsibility and take it as let's learn from these mistakes and take them as a training opportunity in a calm, and when you're calm environment. And let's improve our customer service. We can all do a better job, and let's create this culture of excellent customer service and excellent service recovery within our office, from top to bottom. So what's your strategy? This is one strategy. We've all seen this guy. No service for you. That's the soup Nazi, for those of you that aren't Seinfeld fans. Oh my gosh, how many times have we been to a government office to get a license plate or something? You know, that's kind of the service you get there. Now, we've all been to doctors like this. I'm the ivory tower. I'm the doctor. You will do as you're told. So you're just a patient. Next. You know, that's the ivory tower. We've all experienced that strategy. And, of course, this is what I've done at times. Just wing it. You know, that's not good either. Just do it on the fly. Make up your policy as you go. You know, that's stressful for the staff because they don't know what you're going to do. It's, well, is the doctor in a good mood today? I don't know if I should tell him about Miss Jones not liking her frame, or that lens popped out again, or I forgot to order the contact lenses. Oh, my gosh, is Dr. Day in a good mood? You know, so you want to have a policy so it's not doesn't swing with the wind, so to speak. All right. So then this is another one that many of us fall into. You know, you're the chief complaint officer. Everything ends up on the doctor's desk, and so you've been through 30 patients. You're tired, and then there's this note on your desk, and that's the way we all feel at times. So here's the strategy that we use at Day Eye Care, and I think it's a strategy all of us can implement. At Day Eye Care, we have the $200 rule, just fix it. And we have to talk about this with our staff so that everyone understands this rule. And basically, all staff members, including the newest hired file clerk that's a 18-year-old has just started to work for you, everyone in the office can fix a problem for up to $200. So they have my authority. I've given them authority. I've empowered them to spend $200 to fix a problem. That's going to solve a lot of problems. So at Ritz-Carlton, it's $2,000. So again, $200 is not that much money. But when you think about it, a lot of times you go, oh my gosh, $200, I don't know about that. But if you think about what's the long-term value of our patients, I think conservatively $3,000. But when you look at the whole circle of friends and family and outlaws and in-laws, well, it's probably $10,000. So, oh my goodness, we can afford $200 to fix that patient's problem. Let's keep that whole family, extended family together. We want their story at Thanksgiving coming up, what a great place Day Eye Care is to do business with. Why is this difficult? Well, we're asking our staff to zig and zag. And that's a challenge. There's no hard and fast rules. You can't, it's hard to foresee every nuance of service failure that comes into the office, but you can talk about cases and give them guidelines and help them get pretty good at this. And it works. We've been doing this for 28 years now, and it absolutely works. You got to train the staff. It's not everybody gets a $200 gift card. I'm not saying that, but you're empowering the staff. And what I found in my career is that in 28 years, the staff is going to be more conservative than the doctor. I'll probably be the first one to give them a $200 gift card to make them happy. But the staff they have a good sense of this, good common sense, and they're talking to the patient. And again, they're talking to the patient immediately upon finding out the problem. So the patient's not red in the face yet. They're not fuming. If you make them sit in the waiting room and say, well, you got to see Dr. Day, and he's with the patient, so we're going to make you wait here for an hour in the waiting room and fume. So by the time they see us, they're in the face, blood pressure sky high, and then oh my gosh, you're writing a check bigger than, you're giving all their money back, and that's way more than $200 nowadays on most high dollar frames and fancy progressive lenses. So it works. So let's put this together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over some cases here that these are real life cases from the trenches, and how this $200 rule works and can make your day go a lot smoother. Of course, this is my classic, one of the classic service failures is lifetime frame warranty. We've all experienced that where the optician oversold the frame. This happened back in the 90s, and it still happens to this day. From time to time, a patient comes in, it's been a year and a half, and the metal gold alloys coming off the side, the coating was peeling. This was back in the 90s, and it's a year and a half. What do? It's technically out of warranty. Well, the guy's getting furious because he says, this frame, I bought this nice frame. It's one of those twisty titanium frames they twist, they just love, and they show all their friends, and you told me this frame would last forever. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. Can we replace that frame for $200? You bet we can. Can we replace those lenses for just a few more dollars? You bet we can. So again, take care of that problem. Then you, of course, tell the patient, well, I'm sorry about the lifetime warranty. That was a little bit of an oversell. It's only a year, but we can make an exception for you at this time. Then another one of my favorites is the Sherman Tank. This is usually a baby boomer, and I'll tell you, baby boomers like to get their way, and you better get out of their way if you're not going to give them their way. These are the folks that roll right over your front desk, that everybody comes running down the hall, hiding behind you. Some of them are crying. They just hurt feelings all up above. It's just this person is taking names and demanding payback. Again, to neutralize this person, you just, oh my gosh, Miss Jones, I'm so sorry we got your copay wrong. We're going to take care of that right now. Have a seat. Would you like a cup of coffee? You're one of our favorite patients, and I wish you had I'm glad you brought this to our attention, and you are. So then this is another one. My friends call me Knit. I had a patient that, she just didn't like the frame and tint. And she was a Sherman Tank, so she had unfortunately gotten past all of our empowered staff and rolled over a couple of opticians, including the office manager. So it's Friday at 5 o'clock. I'm on the phone with her. Of course, I know what's happening. Staff is informing me what's happening. Very first thing I said, Miss Jones, what happened? And she rants for about 10 minutes. I go, that is just horrible. And she said, Dr. Day, your office is so terrible. I'm going to turn you into the Attorney General's office. I said, I understand completely. I'm going to get that number for you right now. Let me look it up for you because I've been turned in before. And then she kind of laughed a little bit and said, you're some kind of nitwit. And I said, well, my friends call me Nit. And then she started laughing a little bit and calmed down. And she's still a patient to this day, and we took care of her problem. It wasn't a big deal. It just, again, it was a case where it went a little too long. Of course, she also still threatened to sue me, and I said, I want your daughter to come with you to the office. And she goes, you just want to witness? I said, yes, ma'am, I do. And anyway, she's still a patient to this day. She's a very pleasant person. You just don't want to get in her way. And here's this is another one of my favorites. This is the Walter. Everybody's got Walters in the practice. I had 2 Walters this morning. They are the grumpy old men. Oh my gosh, I hope people are patient with me if I make it to 87 years old and I'm not in a good mood. So these are the guys that come in and they're loud and copay, I don't know, no stinking copay, refraction. What's that? I don't need glasses anymore. Deductible, I don't know that. I paid it last year, young lady. We all deal with this, and this is another easy one to help with your staff. You can hear them yelling down the hall that, about their copay. Now, at least for a lot of the plans I'm on, I'm a specialist now, so instead of $30, I'm $50. And, they see a lot of doctors, so they're getting $50 to death, basically. And what I do with these go, Walter, you're one of my favorite patients. I really love seeing you. You know what? This time, Walter, I can make an exception for you. That is no problem. And then, you know, he goes, oh, Dr. A, I knew you could take care. I said, yes, sir, no problem. Let's make an exception for Walter today. Now, Walter, you know, I don't get to make all the rules. And when I run for office, there'll be no co-pays and deductibles. But right now, I haven't been elected. So next time, you will have to pay your co-pay. Oh, I understand, Doctor. I appreciate you. And then, they're loving you, and you're talking football and fishing and that kind of thing. But you can beat that co-pay out of Walter. But sometimes it's best to cut some slack. Can we afford to make an exception on copay every now and then? You bet you can. It's not a problem. So then another easy one to avoid is the buyer's remorse. You know, we see that every day. The patient gets home and they liked the glasses. They thought they were pretty cool. Optician liked them. We all liked them, but they get home and their husband goes, oh my, those are the ugliest glasses I've ever seen. How much were those things? What? You know, that's buyer's remorse. So she's back the next day. What do? They go, oh, my husband hates these glasses. Oh, Sally, you know, we want you to be happy. You can choose from any frame in our optical. And did your husband come with you? Oh, that's perfect. Go pick out any frame. We want you to be happy. What about the cost? Don't worry about it. We want you to be happy. Because, you know, even if it's a more expensive frame, as long as it's reasonable, again, keep that $200 rule in mind. Again, we've got a patient, we're about to lose that entire family and their circle of friends if we don't solve Sally's problem with her glasses right now. So again, train the staff to just be, that's what sales reps are for. Hey, let's pick out another pair of glasses. That's easy. Another key thing is to also have your staff, be sure your staff is going over with your patients all the cool benefits about their glasses, so that and then when you have that bag when you're dispensing the glasses, put all the transitions handout, the physio enhanced handout, the thin and light handout, the cool thing about the frame, everything you can, information and benefits, and why those are such great glasses. You got to put that in at the dispensing and re-educate the patient, so when they get home, they can talk about what a great pair of glasses they are and how they're going to make their eyes so much more comfortable and prevent macular degeneration. And then also make sure at our office we try to give every patient a savings statement, so they also can show their spouse how much they saved as well with their vision savings plan. So that's straightforward. Here's another case. Again, the suddenly scratched lenses. We've all experienced that. I had this happen when I was a student in optometry school, and this happened about 3 years ago. A young lady of not much means, she's 23. She's on her own, and she comes in. She's a 4-diopter myo, and she's my optical manager is adjusting her glasses. The frame's about 16, 18 months old. She's had them a while. And so he hands the glasses back to the young lady, and she starts to cry, and she says, oh my, you scratched my lenses. Well, we all know my optical manager did not scratch her lenses. It's just all of a sudden she looked at them with those 4-diopter myopic eyes, and she can see more scratches than I can. So what he did, he applied the $200 rule. Oh my, that's awful. I'll take care of this right away. Can we replace a pair of lenses? Well, you bet you can. She was giving the optical manager a hug on the way out for taking care of her glasses. How about this one, optician outed? This is, again, don't make excuses when you're providing poor service. Don't make excuses. This is when frames and lenses go on back order. I'm always reminding my staff and opticians and contact lens assistants, the back order is the kiss of death for excellent customer service. Back order means the vendor does not have what you need, and they don't know when they're going to have it, so they're just going to put you off, and hopefully you'll say, if they tell you 6 weeks, you'll say, okay. You just don't want to do that. And that's, of course, when the patient calls up, and, hey, I've waited 4 weeks for my glasses. Where are my glasses? And they're like, well, they're on back order. Well, that's awful. Nobody wants to hear that. So once an optician knows that a pair of glasses or lenses or for whatever reason there's a backorder issue, you've got to call that patient right away. Don't make excuses. Get them into the office. Say, Miss Jones, I know you love that cool frame with the turquoise tint, but we just can't get that. I've got some really cool, 3 cool frames chosen for you. I think you'll really love. I've got them here in stock, and we can get those made in just a few days. And you're going to love them, and I'm going to make sure you're happy. Here's another thing that I wish didn't happen in my office, but it's where are my contact lenses? You know, we're computerized, but occasionally we forget to check that box, okay, to order contact lenses. And so then the contact lenses never get ordered. Patients pay for them, of course, and you know now it's 3 weeks. They've been wearing that daily, 1 pair of daily trial lenses now for 3 weeks. And they're calling, where are my contact lenses? I'm going to Jamaica on a mission trip. So right then, again, don't want to have that come back to your desk. Right then, you want your chief technician or contact lens technician right then say, oh my gosh, that's horrible. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I'm going to get you a pair of trial lenses right now to you, and I'm going to overnight a box of contact lenses, and these are on us. So they get a nice free pair of contact lenses. Again, we don't want this to happen, but you don't want to sit there and go, oh, well, you're going to Jamaica. Oh, sorry. We'll see if I can get some lenses for you. No. You get them in some lenses, and you get them in some lenses today. So, of course, now we face Facebook, Instagram, and I've even had people talk about me on Facebook. On Facebook. I wish I could tell you it was all good. So this is the case of the Poinsettia. I had a patient came in just a couple of years ago, and she says, Dr. Day, my good friend Sally has been really ragging on you on Facebook. And I'm like, oh my gosh, really? What's she saying? And she says, just terrible things. And then other people are chiming in about terrible things. I'm like, oh man, what's going on? Of course, you know, you can pull up this person's Facebook, and sure enough, I pulled it up, and well, it was classic. I have a new associate, and this associate made the classic new associate mistake. He did every test you could possibly do on this patient. So she was here 2 or 3 hours, and it was his only patient for the morning, and you know, $600 worth of treatment and later, and she's got, of course, a $2,000 deductible, and you know what this has happened. So she was surprised. So of course, I called her up and I said, Miss Jones, and I always said, what happened? You know, let them tell you their story. So I called her up that evening, and she told me her story. And you know, she starts out, you know, defensive. They think you're gonna, you know, just, you know, be ivory tower to them. I just said, oh, that's horrible. That's awful. I'm so sorry that happened. Now, she was okay with the services my associate had given. It was just she was very much surprised with the bill, and she was okay, you know. And so I didn't have to, you know, give her $500 of services for free, but I apologized to her, and I told her I'd be sure to make sure this doesn't happen again. And I appreciate her bringing this to my attention. I told her I wish more people would let me know when things don't go smooth. That's the only way I really know, and how I know how to help these young doctors. So I'm on her team, and she becomes on my team, and she's now helping me run the office. So that evening, I called up my local florist, and I sent her poinsettias. This was Christmas time, so I sent her a nice poinsettia, you know, with $35, and sent it to her. And lo and behold, she posted a picture of the poinsettia on Facebook and talked about what a great office day eye care is and what a great Dr. Day is. So again, you can turn things around as long as we get off our ivory tower, put our ego aside, let the patient win. So service recovery is we have to have a plan when things inevitably go wrong. We've got to have that antenna up and the radar on. Let's be aware when patients encounter service failures, and let's put systems in place to prevent these problems. And the key here is we've got to empower our staff to solve the problems quickly, right then and there. And that's the $200 rule. Just fix it. So let's create a culture of excellent customer service and excellent service recovery, and your patients will love you for it. And there's my graph again. The neutral satisfaction drops, and then basically if we do this right, we'll have loyal, raving fans at the end of the day that just think we're the greatest doctor around. So that's my service recovery grand rounds, and I'd love to hear some questions.
Howard, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'm curious, actually, if you could expand a little bit on how you obviously have a great philosophy on customer service and service recovery. How do you, beyond anything you mentioned, like the $200 recovery rule, instill that into your staff? How do you create that culture, especially when you bring new hires on? What goes into that process of really building that culture so it becomes your way of doing things?
Yeah, that's a good question, and that is a challenge because I'm convinced everyone knows when they get poor service, but people don't instinctively know how to give good service or service recovery. Most of the time, when we hire people, they think their job is to protect the office at all costs, and so that's typically where they come from. So we, on at least on a regular basis, we go over in staff meetings and training. So when you get a bad survey or whatever, we take those opportunities to talk about how could we have done this different. So you've got to constantly train your staff and go over these cases with the staff. And basically what happens is once your senior staff members understand where you're coming from, it's like my optical manager talks about, sometimes we have a couple of new opticians and they'll say, well, do we need to talk to Howard? And my optical manager says, well, I can tell you what Howard's going to say. He's going to say, just fix it. So you've got to have that culture. They've got to truly understand that I want them to take great care of my patient and fix their problem immediately. And I'm not going to go back and be the armchair quarterback and go, oh, why did you spend $50 here or do that? I'm not going to do that. All I want to hear is how the patient was made happy.
How often would you say that the staff actually has to give that money away? Because what I hear with offices that do that is it's infrequent that they'll have to give it. And you said something which I completely agree with, that the point where you have to give a refund or give money back or give discounts, it's almost a last resort at that point. You've almost lost, and it's just like, here, take something just to make this right. But if you deal with it correctly from the beginning, I think that they will not necessarily still be demanding more money. It's almost like they want that discount, they want that refund because they couldn't get what they really wanted out of you, which was maybe just some empathy or somebody to listen.
Right. A lot of times they just want to know that you're on their side and you agree with them that frame is too large, and so they really don't want their money back. That's a rare occurrence at my office, and because when you start writing that check back, that's a service failure. You're never going to see that patient again. They might wander in later on, but you're not going to see them again. So, but if you do all this right and you do it with a happy, enthusiastic body language, hey Steve, I'm sorry we forgot to order kind. I'm going to ship these overnight to you, and I've got some trials right now. Where are you? Well, I'm on the. Well, we got them here for you. As long as you do it with a happy smile, I think patients appreciate that. And the key is to do it quickly. That's the key. The longer it waits, if that's put off, your front desk person, knows that Steve's upset that his contact lenses weren't ordered, then she puts it in a tray, and then the tech goes, well, I don't know what to do about this. It's VSP. Oh, well, I don't know. Let me stick it over here. And then it finally gets back to Dr. Day's desk. I think that's when you're losing the patient. The key is to take care of this problems quickly.
Yeah, I love that idea you said about empowering the first person who hears the complaint, because I hate that. I hate when it's something that could be fixed, but what you hear is, well, you've got to talk to somebody else. Let me go get my manager, call this person. You've got to go over to this department. Just fix it. It's that. It just fix it now. I don't want to sit on hold waiting for somebody to call me back. Just so I thought that was great. And so some of the best advice I ever got on this topic was from a friend of mine who's a flight attendant, who obviously hears a lot of unhappy, complaints and feedback. And she said, she goes, all they want is to vent. And if you just listen, if you just shut up and listen to what they have to say, that's really all they want from the beginning. And I think you need to move people from the initial point of emotion over to logic. And I think you get there by just let them vent, listen to them, apologize, because when people are emotional, they tend to be very irrational. And it doesn't matter who's right or wrong. They can be very illogical when you do that. So giving them a platform just to get it off their chest, listen, and I think that starts the process of moving them from emotion over to logic. And it's really not, the thing about service is it's so bad at so many places that it's really no wonder people come in with a chip on their shoulder. I don't think they expect you to listen and or validate what they're saying. So when you immediately show that concern and empathy, you can see their whole body language change. And
you watch someone. I've had people just, Mrs. Jones is just, they're just furious, and they are furious, and they've chewed out the poor soul at the front desk, and they're pretty caustic. But I see them like, you just give them that's horrible. I'm so sorry that happened. I'm so sorry for that inconvenience. Oh my gosh, that is terrible. You just, you just see them soften. The shoulders come down, that their voice drops. It just, and all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, Dr. Days, yeah, he agrees it's a problem, and he's going to take care of it. And then thank them. Thank you for bringing this to my attention, because you are. I'm glad they brought it to our attention, because what you have to remember is for every one person that does bring it to your attention, there's probably another 4 or 5. If you've got some service problems in your office, there may be another 10 that just, they didn't want to confront you or your staff. They just voted with their feet, and that's the last thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. One more question. How would you handle a situation where you had to say no? If it was, let's say, just such a unreasonable request or something that you were just not able to accommodate, how would you address the patient with that?
Yeah, there are times when there are things that we can't fix, and like I said, when it comes to their insurance and deductibles, sometimes you just can't fix that, and unfortunately, and I just commiserate with the patient when I tell them I can't fix this problem, but that's not very often. That you can get some demanding patients. And what I remind of the staff about, again, what I talked about earlier, let's give those demanding patients a hug. That's why we're in business. If this stuff was easy, everybody would be buying their glasses off the internet. But it's not easy. It's not how the frame fits, the measurements, all that's technical stuff that's not easy to do. So that demanding patient that's hard to please, very picky, embrace them. They're great. Come on in, because that's why we all have a living. But that's a challenge. But occasionally, even I've had patients that I said before in my disclosures that I could not make happy, and eventually you do just have to say, "I'm sorry, Miss Jones. I've done all I can for you." And that's a tough thing to tell someone.
Yeah. Well, that was great, Howard. I do think at the end of the day, one of the biggest thing that differentiates ODs from maybe a lot of the threats that people see coming with technology and changes in healthcare is just it's the connections that you make in your community with the people you have. I really, maybe I'm just naive here, but I still think people want to do business with other humans.
They do. We just yesterday afternoon, it was like open house at our office. People are visiting, laughing, talking. And again, even the most toxic person, you that's about, you know, cussing you, if you just go, man, I love seeing you, you know, you may not really love seeing them, but if you just say, hey, I love seeing you and I appreciate you coming in today, you know, people would like that, and they're not going to get that anyplace else. They're not going to get that on the internet.
Yeah, I agree. So, all right, Howard. Well, thank you so much. It was great seeing you in San Francisco, and I'm going to let you go here. And unless you have anything else to add, I will wish you a good evening.
That's great. I enjoyed it as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Howard. Thank you, everybody.
All right. Have a great day.